Hello everyone, I am Kanupriya Sharma, Verbal SME at eGMAT, and I am here with this weekend question which is about the toxic dioxins. So let's start with solving this question. You can pause this video and you can resume it once you are done solving the question. Alright, so I'm assuming that you have solved the question. So let me start with some details about this question. This is a 700 plus level weekend question from OG Advanced. The student stats are very interesting here. The correct answer choice is selected by only 56% students. The most popular incorrect answer choice, which is choice B, is selected by around 28% students, and this is what makes this question difficult. Choice C, D, and E are also selected by some of the students. So while solving questions, while solving this question, we'll discuss all these choices and understand that how we can understand the traps that are there and how we can reject the incorrect answer choices easily in such questions. The interesting features of this question are, first, the answer choices are very complex. Second, the meaning of the conclusion is a trap here. So if you don't understand it correctly, then you may actually end up marking the incorrect answer choice. And you will not even understand that why it is incorrect. The third thing is that this question tests one of the basic characteristics of a weakener. So you'll either get to know about this new characteristic or it will be a revision for you, so that you can actually keep that characteristic in mind while solving other weakener questions. So let's start by visualizing the argument. Alright, so from the passage we know that there is a certain rural area in which the household garbage, I'll call it HG, is disposed of by burning. Right. Now this burning releases some toxic chemicals known as dioxins. This is the original situation. Yep. Alright. Now the passage says that it talks about some new conservation regulations. These regulations will require a major reduction in paper and cardboard packaging in this area. Please note that again it is about this area. From this portion we can infer that the quantity of paper and cardboard in the household garbage will reduce in this area. Right. Now, another thing that we know is that paper and cardboard packaging materials contain toxins. So based on these two pieces of information, it has been concluded that dioxin pollution in this area will reduce as a result of implementation of new conservation regulation. So please pay special attention to the underlined portion. The conclusion is specific to this area, and the conclusion talks about reduction. That is any reduction in dioxin pollution. It need not be a significant reduction. Alright, so with these two aspects in mind, let's move to visualizing the conclusion. So we know that the conclusion is that one result of the implementation of the new regulations will surely be a reduction in dioxin pollution in the area. Now, we've already discussed the logic. We have discussed the current situation in which in the given rural area people dispose of household garbage by burning it, which releases dioxins. The new situation, which is after the new regulations have been implemented, so paper and cardboard packaging for products sold in this area will reduce significantly. And what else we know? We know that such packaging materials contain dioxins. Alright, so I can give you an example to understand the situation. Earlier, let's say every kg of household garbage in this area consisted of 0.8 kg material that contains dioxins. Right, so 0.8 kg, the dioxin source used to be around 0.8 kg in every kg of household garbage earlier. And now after new regulations have been implemented, this weight will reduce. So every kg of household garbage in this area will consist of let's say 0.5 kg material that contains dioxins. Alright, the two important aspects about the conclusion that we already discussed is that it is specific to the rural area that is being discussed. Secondly, it talks about a reduction in dioxin pollution, and this reduction need not be significant. Even a small reduction is acceptable. So with this, let's move to pre-thinking. Now, this is a weakener question. So let's create the weaken framework. The question that we need to ask here is, what new information will reduce our belief in the conclusion that the implementation of the new regulations will surely result in a reduction in dioxin pollution in the area? Now let's think of some scenarios. The first scenario can be, What if the new regulations actually add an even bigger source of dioxin to the household garbage? For example, what if, in order to make people aware of the new regulations, pamphlets are distributed in homes regularly? Such pamphlets will also be a part of household garbage, and if their quantity is significant, they may actually increase the dioxin content of household gas instead of reducing it. Household garbage instead of reducing it. The second scenario can be, what if there is a benefit of burning significant amount of paper and cardboard with the household garbage? So this scenario is actually in line with our correct answer. If you have marked the correct answer, you would have understood it. But this scenario is actually in line with that answer only. If burning a lot of paper and cardboard with household garbage can result in destruction of a significant amount of dioxins, then the new regulations may actually increase the dioxin pollution. Right? So keeping these scenarios in mind, the two weakeners can be: first, the implementation of the new regulations will not add a potential source of dioxin to household garbage. Second, burning a significant amount of paper and cardboard with household garbage do not in any way contribute towards a reduction in dioxin pollution. So with this, let's move to answer choice analysis. Choice A. Now, the way choice A has been worded, it is very difficult to understand, right? If you too felt the same, then here is what you should do for such questions or such statements. Break them down. Let's do that. Garbage containing large, let me get my pen. All right. So garbage containing large quantities of paper and cardboard. Let's read this thing. So we are talking here about garbage that has a lot of paper and cardboard. Hence, choice A is about this specific type of garbage. Can easily burn hot enough. So let's consider this portion. Can easily burn hot enough. So this kind of garbage can get heated enough for something. We will have to read further to understand what this something is. For some portion of the dioxins that it contains to be destroyed. So this heat is sufficient to destroy a portion of the dioxins contained in this garbage. Alright, so in the simplified version, choice A states that when household garbage that has a lot of paper and cardboard is burnt, it can get hot enough to destroy some of its own dioxins. Right, so for example, let's say earlier, or if we take example of 1 unit of household garbage with significantly less paper and cardboard, which is a scenario in line with what is expected after the new regulations have been implemented. So let's say the dioxin content is 70 units. No dioxin will be destroyed during burning, so the dioxin pollution will be 70 units. Now, if let's say 1 unit hydrocarbon, 1 unit household garbage with a lot of paper and cardboard is burned, then as per choice A, let's say the dioxin content is 100 units, dioxin destroyed during burning is 40 units. So the dioxin pollution is 60 units. So we can see, because in this example, there is more paper and cardboard, so the total dioxin content of the household garbage was 100 units, but since it burnt some of its own dioxin, the actual dioxin pollution is 60 units. So my question is choice A conveying a benefit of burning garbage that has a lot of paper and cardboard? Just think about it. Is choice A conveying a benefit of burning garbage that has a lot of paper and cardboard? Yes, you are right. So it is a correct weakener here. Now, you may say that dioxins released here, because this is just an example, assume numbers. So these 60 units may actually be more than dioxins released here, that is 70 units. So basically, such a scenario is also possible, that total content was 180 units, 45 got destroyed while burning, so the dioxin pollution is 75 units. If you rejected choice A for such a scenario, then you are missing out on an important characteristic of a weakener. A weakener, a correct weakener, just needs to reduce our belief in the conclusion. It just needs to provide information that can help us question the conclusion. It need not always break the conclusion, right? Choice A here conveys that it is good to burn garbage with a lot of paper and cardboard, since a portion of dioxins gets destroyed in this process. So this choice makes us question whether it is correct to conclude that the implementation of the new regulations will surely reduce dioxin pollution in the area. And that is why choice A is actually the correct weakener. So let's start with choice B. Choice B is again a very complexly written answer choice. So let's start by breaking it down to understand it better. Packaging materials typically make up only a small proportion of the weight of household garbage. So let's pause here. So in terms of weight, this choice is saying that in terms of weight, packaging materials constitute a small portion. So maybe in, let's say, 10 kg of household garbage, only 2 kgs, that is 20% will be packaging material, and the remaining 8 kgs, that is 80%, will be other waste. Alright, but a relatively large proportion of its volume. So here the choice is saying that even though that weight may be less, but the volume occupied by packaging material will be relatively higher. So in this example, while packaging material is only 20% in weight, it may actually take up 40% volume. Right, so this is weight and this is volume. So this is what choice B is saying. So if we simplify choice B, all we get to know from it is that the packaging material is one of the lighter density components of household garbage. Now, can we relate density to dioxin content? No. And hence, choice B cannot be used to weaken the conclusion. It is an incorrect answer choice. Let me erase this thing. Yeah. All right. Now, let me modify this question, this choice. If I rewrite it as packaging materials typically make up only a small proportion of the household garbage, will that choice be correct? Will it be a correct weakener? If you think yes here, then you will learn another important aspect that needs to be considered here. So, if packaging material constitutes only a small proportion, then probably the dioxin pollution caused by it will also be less. So let's say that it is 5%. Right. So if new regulations are implemented, dioxin pollution will also reduce by 5%. 5% or less. Right. Now, does our belief in the conclusion reduce because the reduction is small or the reduction is not significant? No. The conclusion talks about a reduction in dioxin pollution and not a significant reduction in dioxin pollution, as we already discussed while discussing the important aspects of the conclusion. It talks about only reduction, not a significant reduction. Hence, even if the packaging material constitutes a small percentage of household garbage, new regulations will definitely help reduce some of the dioxin pollution. Therefore, even modified choice B does not go against the conclusion. The same holds true for the original choice B as well. Given the properties of packaging material in choice B, removal of packaging material from garbage will definitely remove some dioxin content. Hence, the original choice B also does not go against the conclusion. So, we can reject choice B for multiple reasons. Alright. Now, let's quickly reject the other answer choices also. So, choice C. Choice C conveys that the amount of packaging material in rural areas is expected to be less than that in urban areas. However, this information does not impact the conclusion, since the conclusion is about the impact of new regulations on dioxin pollution in rural areas. This choice does not provide any information to understand this impact, and also the comparison between rural and urban areas is irrelevant. Hence, choice C is incorrect. Coming to choice D now. So the motivation behind new regulations does not help understand the impact of these regulations, and therefore this choice is irrelevant. Coming to choice E. Coming to choice E. So the conclusion is about the impact of new regulations on dioxin pollution, and hence the after effects of dioxin pollution are irrelevant. So choice E is also incorrect. So we have some interesting takeaways from this question. The first one, always read complex answer choices in small chunks and assimilate the meaning. So we saw that this is applicable to both the correct choice, choice A, as well as the most popular incorrect answer choice, choice B. Second, A correct weakener need not always break the conclusion. It just needs to reduce our belief in the question. Third, use example values when applicable to understand the given information correctly. So here we took some examples of dioxin content, of how much dioxins can be burned, what can be the impact. So you can also take some examples to understand what kind of information is being given. So hope the solution was helpful to you. Happy learning.